but unfortunately I've got something on tomorrow, so I thought I'll get it over and done by tonight. We'll be joining Facebook Live in a minute. We'll do it now. We'll go live, and as always, we'll get in there. Well, thanks for joining me on Facebook Live and YouTube, and thanks as always to the sponsors. Just touch that camera. Sponsors: Cornerstone Business Solutions, TGM Cars, Cleveland Systems Engineering, Galaxy Blinds, Richard Wills Trading Associates, Advanced Utility Solutions, and Borough Ship Museum. Thanks to every one of them. Obviously talking about North East football, must start with talking about my team, Middlesbrough against Reading yesterday. We tore them to shreds. We were exciting. We were attacking, free-flowing. 5 goals, could have been many more. Obviously, Chuba Akpom, first guy to get 20 league goals since 1989. Fantastic. Well done, Chuba. I had the pleasure of meeting him after the game. I loved his celebration. Then we had Tony Mowbray's team, done yesterday. They get gubbed. It was 5, wasn't it? 5. They get done 5. Newcastle got beat 2. Hartlepool drew. Darlow drew. So it wasn't a great weekend for the North East clubs. I'll tell you what, I've just come off after watching Manchester United against Liverpool. I mean, I've been at Old Trafford in recent weeks and everybody's buzzing. Ten Hag's come in, did a great job, turned everything round, mentality, victories, trophy in the cabinet when they beat Newcastle. And then I watched that, and today it was an absolute shambles. Dear me, Liverpool, incredible. I mean, some people, when you listen to national radio, don't listen every day, but I listen a few times. Certain ones I like, certain ones I despise. But when I listen to certain ones and fans are coming on and saying Klopp has to go and on, I think, yeah, Bamper, what they're saying tonight? 7-0 against Manchester United. Incredible. It was an incredible game. Great goals, poor defending. I didn't see the after interview with Ten Hag. I'd be intrigued to see what he's got to say. Raymond Palmer says, evening, Ben. Evening, Raymond. But going back to the... I'm looking at the Borough games. Obviously, I'm a Borough fan. You know that. Everybody knows that. I was looking at it. 11 games left. We've got 6 home, 5 away. And there's only 4 games that we play the top 10 teams. That's Burnley who are first, Norwich 6th, Luton 5th, and Coventry 8th. So it's a great run-in for us. There may be a tomato shortage, but Borough have had plenty of spuds as strikers: Ishmael Miller, Marcus Bent, Marlon King, Lee Miller, and Chris Killen. I forgot Chris Killen, he's another one. I've been writing all the strikers down, you know. Chris Killen, there's one. I'm writing that down. Yeah, we have had some donkeys, but some great strikers, but some poor strikers. But Newcastle United fans, come on, Newcastle fans, please join me. After the cup final, another trophyless season. And Sunderland fans, I think I read somewhere that's the worst defeat at home in 40 odd years. 40 odd years. The last time you get done with 5 goals. I mean, I was with Tony Mowbray a couple of weeks ago, and we had a private conversation, we just had a general conversation, and he was upbeat, and I think he was enjoying the way the team's playing. But what happened yesterday? I mean, I've said since Big Stuart got injured, that Sunderland won't make the playoffs. Don't believe they'll make the playoffs. I hope they do for Tony Mowbray, and the Sunderland's obviously a North East side. But I can't see it happening because of the lack of firepower. They've got novices in there. And I think you need proven, and Big Stuart was a regular goal scorer, and Ellis who went back to Everton. So I think that's 2 big holes. And Sunderland, for whatever reason, I don't believe for a minute it's Tony Mowbray. I think Tony Mowbray, well, I know Tony Mowbray is the coach, he's not the manager. And I keep saying it, that coach title means you pick the team and you train the team. You don't necessarily bring the players in or let players go. That's up to the other guys. Mohammed says, yes, Bernie, you okay? Darlington, Alan Armstrong, there's another one. I'm writing that down, Alan Armstrong. And the reason I'm writing them down, because I'm going to accumulate how much they've all cost. Braithwaite, remember Braithwaite? There's Jordan Rhodes, Joseph Job, Jukovic, Viduka, Brian Dean, Alves, not Elvis, Alves, Zillard Nemeth, Nick Bambi, Paul Mercer. I mean, the list is endless. It's interesting. So let's see. Darlington, Alan Armstrong signed a new deal. I had Kieran Dyer in my area. today driving past. All right, Kieran Dyer. Kieran Dyer had a short spell here at Middlesbrough, didn't he? He lasted a couple of games or something, didn't he? It was Kieran Dyer had the ding dong, wasn't it? Can't mind the lad's name. Who was at Birmingham recently. His manager, is he still there? Boyer. They had the ding dong during the game, didn't you remember that? At St James's Park. I think there was a few exchange of words. Two of them were at loggerheads in front of everybody. Bonkers. Alan Armstrong was a good player. And what about Matt Abranca? Matt Abranca, he's another one. Matt Abranca. If you don't know who Matt Abranca is, he was a pal of Gianluca Festa. Both of them were Italian. Both of them great guys. I had the pleasure of meeting them, being in their company and chatting to them, interviewing them. Yeah, Matt Abranca was a fine... Did he score a hat-trick in the first game, Matt Abranca? United were embarrassed. Borough, what a win. Sunderland got trashed badly, 5. Mowbray failing off the player. Well, if Mugger's top strikers are injured, or one goes back on loan, how do you expect Mugger to turn it round? He's not a wizard. You know, he's a coach. He's not even a manager, he's a coach. And if he can't get the back in, how's he going to turn it round? Hello, Bernie. Hope you're well up the Borough. Advanced Killer. What a game yesterday. Yeah, so regarding Mugger, I'm not defending Mugger, but you have to be a half-wit if you don't see what's going on at Sunderland. One striker goes to Everton because he's on loan. That's what happens when he's loaned. He gets back, so that's a hole. He scored a few goals, and then Big Stuart is out for the season. So you have to replace him. If you don't replace him, inevitably you're not going to get where you want to be. And I don't think Sunderland will be top 6. I says that as soon as Stuart got injured. Great result, Bernie. Once again, Chuba Akpom on the mat again. Bring on Swansea from Mark and Jojo. That's from Matt Wilson. Bring on Swansea. Nothing to fear. I mean, I've jotted them down. Swansea, Stoke, Preston, Huddersfield, Burnley, Bristol City, Norwich, Hull City, Luton, Rotherham and Coventry. As I say, there's only 4 in the top 10. 11 games left. Loads of points, loads of goals to be scored, especially the way we are playing. He scored Branker against Liverpool in his debut. He did a hat-trick with his first touch and then scored 2 against Sunderland in his very next game. Yeah, Branker was a good one. Matt Smith says, one of these days for United, deflection into Salah's path for his first summed it up. I've seen that. Bookies ordering Lamborghinis and yachts. Martin Smith must have a wee feel for the Man United. We've had some garbage strikers that cost us millions. All we have. We've not got enough time to say that, but no. He scored a hat-trick against Bury later in the season. I thought he scored a hat-trick again. Oh, that was Ravitt scored a hat-trick against Liverpool. Fabrizio Ravanelli, colourful striker. Yeah, I like Big Rav. Hope you well, Bernie. Amazing game for the Borough yesterday. Reece Ward. It was. I mean, I expected that. I never go overboard. And after last week, I thought we were poor against. Well, we were poor. 2 bad goals conceded. And I did think. I says in the lounge when I do my top in the Legends Lounge. I said I'll predict. I'm not a betting man, but I think it'll be 3 or 4 today. And I think we could have got as many as we wanted. I mean, Paul Ince, ludicrously, by all accounts, was quoted as saying it was down to the referee. The referee, I have to say, they could have quite easily had a penalty. Probably was a penalty. And Smith could have got his matching orders. And I'll tell you who confirmed it. Big Jeff the ref, my pal, Jeff Winter. I was with him today having a coffee. And he's a massive Borough fan. He's not a blinkered Borough fan, he's a massive Borough fan. And he says, do you know what? It could have changed the dynamics. I still think we'd have beat him, and he thinks that as well. But a sending off, man reduced, could have caused us problems. But that's one of the for me, VAR should be in the Championship. There's millions and millions of pounds to be earned by getting to the promised land, the Premiership, and we don't have VAR. It's like cup games. You play cup games, if you're playing at a Premiership club, you have VAR on the night, and if you don't, you've not. I think that's unfair. So I don't get that. I think VAR, we know it costs money. That's enough money in the Championship, surely. Get VAR. Imagine us missing out because of a dodgy decision in the playoffs, final at Wembley. Dodgy decision. Shows you on the television, we all go, wow, there's no VAR. Alan Boxic, no, I've got him, Raymond. Alan Boxic didn't play enough, but when he played, he was outrageously good. He was fantastic. Alan Boxic was strong, he was quick, he scored some fantastic goals, he was fearless, he was a big, strong, commanding figure. Mowbray signed Dyer at Middlesbrough. He did, Mohammed, but I think it was just like, well, it only lasted a short term. There's talk today, Mowbray is away at the end of the season on the SAFF, the Sunderland Forum. Madness. Well, if Mugger goes, if that's the rumours, I don't know, but if he did go, I would think it'd be a walkout because he's not happy with the way things are operating. Possibly. You know, why else would they go? You come January, you've got a window to get a striker or two in, a bit of experience, and you don't bother. You're looking for trouble. Roy says, thanks for the Lionel Richie rendition, Bernie. Martin Grange. So I take it, Martin, you're in the Legends Lounge yesterday. There was 4 of yous, and there was a guy talking about Morrissey, because I like Morrissey, and this guy was not Morrissey. And I says, who do you like? He says, Lionel Richie. Anyway, he was adamant he wanted to sing all night long, and I said, no, we can't do that in the Legends Lounge, mate. We need to keep upbeat. I think he's seen what Alec Neil's seen. Yeah, Alec Neil's the manager there. Yeah, so I enjoyed it yesterday. It was a good crack. Darren Appleyard says, joining you from Lobito again, Bernie. Dyer had half a season. Did he have much as that? Well, that shows how much an impression he made on me. I didn't think it was half a season, dear God. Half a season. I'd have said a few games. It's amazing and astonishing. See if you get a pen and a bit of paper and you jot down players at your respective clubs over the last 10 years, say, you forget half of them. And then when you rate them down, you go, oh, him. Oh, that's right. I made a nightmare. Or it's amazing. I've done it yesterday. As a Borough fan, I'd like to see Newcastle United make Europe. Imagine the atmosphere at St James's Park. Well, Newcastle at the minute, I think they're 6. They've got a game in hand over Spurs, and they can go ahead of Spurs if they win the 2 games. They've got 2 games in hand. So they're still not out of it, but they're dropping, and they've no won for 4. 4 league games they've not won. Obviously, making the cup final. So they need to get their act together and turn it around again. They've had a great season, no doubt. Didn't Branker score with his first kick against Sunderland? Yeah, somebody mentioned that, Ali. I took photo of his car. He got his name on the reg, Mr. Dyer. It's all gone quiet on that charity match with ex-players. Have you heard anything, Nicky Henderson? So Nicky Henderson is referring to, during the pandemic, Mikael Beck, Danish international, played for Middlesbrough. Good guy, I know him personally. Good guy, not bad player, scored a few goals. He was saying, during the pandemic, going to arrange a game, got all the big names back, Janino. Some of the guys won't be able to move now. Years have rolled on now. Anyway, the idea and the plan was to raise money for the nurses or whatever, which is a great, in theory it was a great thought, but I don't think he thought of the financial side, the implications. You'd have to get police and stewarding, pay for the park, pay for facilities for the players coming in. So, yeah, you'd have to question who's going to fit that bill. It wouldn't be Middlesbrough, they wouldn't fit it. Hey, I work for the borough, I only get paid, let alone that. No, seriously, I don't think that, I think that Mikael, great ideas and great intentions, but I think it would cost a lot of money and he would have to fit the bill. And if it doesn't go to plan, he loses money. So that, Nick, regarding that ain't going to happen. Simon Dana says, how impressed are you with Carrick and the job he has done so far? Simon, incredible. I seen him yesterday, I shook his hand yesterday, says, well done, big man. He's just as cool as a cucumber sidelines. Doesn't look ruffled to me within. I'm sure he does within, but he keeps it cool. If the ball's out of play, the players can look over and you just see a calming influence. As I say, he's come in, went for at the back, kept the same team in the main. The lads that he's brought in have done well. I mean, look at Ramsey yesterday. He's come out the blue. I know he's played big piece, but he's come in yesterday for the off. Scoring goals, looked the part, looked as if he's been here a lifetime. And the football and entertainment value is top draw. We go there knowing we're going to impress. We're going to turn it on. We're going to be stylish in the main. As I say, there's only 2 games. Sunderland we were poor and West Brom poor. Brighton will not talk about that. It's a cup game. In the league, we've been very, very impressive. Not sustained it for the duration of every game, but there's been some great games. Watford, Sheffield United for 75, 80 minutes. Brilliant. So, we deserve all the plaudits. We've been terrific. Every one of them. Bamford, yeah, I've got Bamford down. Bamford cost 6 million, as did Rudy just said, in the January. And between them as a duo, they scored 1 in the Premier League. That was well worth the money, yeah. Best hat-tricks I have seen is yourself and David Speedy, 3-3 draw. I was there, Bernard, Julie Henry. Thank you, Julie. Julie's an ardent Borough fan, travels the country, has done for many years, up and down the country, every game home and away. And she's saying that the Speedy hat-trick we won at Coventry was one of the best. By the way, I have to say, talking about hat-tricks, Chuba Akpom should have had a hat-trick yesterday. For me, he should have had the ball. Foz had the cheek and audacity to go and get the ball. I would question Foz, and I would have asked him in the dressing room, would you have took it if it was 0-0 in a high pressurised game, the playoff final, would you have grabbed it as quickly? When you're a few up and you're cruising, it's quite easy to demand the ball. But for me, I would have took the penalty. I would have fought all day long and argued with him saying, I'm getting a hat-trick. Chuba deserved a hat-trick. Chuba's the best goal scorer we've got. Why shouldn't he take the penalty? Why should the substitute come on and say, I want the penalty? I mean, there's a bit of, well, I've not listened to interviews, but so far people says that Carrick and Chuba and all that are all just saying, oh, well, it's good, you know, we're a team. And yeah, we are a team. But if I'm on two and I'm your top scorer, top league scorer, and I want another goal because I've got the bit between my teeth, I'm flying, another chance to get a match ball, that would be his second Akpom this season. There's no better feeling. So for me, Akpom should have been strong. I went, listen, give us it here, you ain't taking it. It's happened before, it happened recently in a game. Was it West Ham? It happened recently. I've done it as well. I've been involved in skirmishes over penalties. I've handed the ball over for penalty kicks. I won. Only because the guy would have batted me. Borough had Stonewall penalty not given. Hate the phrase luck evens itself out over the season. Garbage. What if that happens last game of the season or had forbid the playoff? Yeah, well. What result? We have fantastic credit to Chuba, but how good was Ramsey? All of the team were brilliant and catching. Sheffield is more than possible. Way to go yet, Bernie. Way to go. As I say, we've got 11 games left. 6 at home, 5 away. I say there are only 4 top 10 teams out of them at the minute. And there's no reason why we can't win at home. But our home form's been good. Away form's good. We score goals. We do create. I mean, West Brom was just an off day. But in the main, we will put sides to the sword. Hamilton Rickard, I've got him 16 league goals, same as Fabrizio and Ravanelli. Nobody mentions Rickard. What do you think about second spot, Bernie? Chris Coverdale. Well, it's not like the realms of possibility. Of course we can make it. Of course we can. And if they didn't have that game in hand, and we've got 11 games left, I'd think, do you know what? But with that game in hand and still 4 points ahead, it's better a bird in the hand than 2 in the bush, the old saying. But if they win the game in the hand, which is it's no guarantee, 7 points a game gap, that's 3 games, isn't it? So we're running out of games, running out of points, but the pressure's on Sheffield. They know we're breathing down their necks. That's a good thing. We're breathing down their necks. They know we're a top side. They know we're scoring goals for fun. They know, and all the clubs know that we've got the top scorer in the division in Chuba. So, yeah, they're under more pressure. Ramsey was outstanding, says Mohammed. You're right. Nick Henderson said, you should put your list on Facebook and we can all look to add to it. Do you have big rickets? I have. I'm going to read them out. It's the majority of Borough fans anyway. This is what I've got, right? So, last player to score 20 goals to the modern player now. Ian Baird, Davenport, Payton, Ravanelli, Akpom, Boxic, Ali Dare, no in order, but this is Bamford, the Sombalonga, Noel Whelan, Joseph Job, Rudy Gested, dear God, Djukovic, Viduka, Yakubu, Rickard, Hasselbank, Macaroni, Job, Dean, Alves, Bambi, Nemeth, Beck, Fjortov, Ricketts, Fletcher, Ashley Fletcher, 6.5 million. By God, that was robbery. At least stick to more a mask. Chris Kamara, mind him? Kai Kamara, sorry, no Chris Kamara. Chris did play his midfield. Kai Kamara, just under £1 million he cost. Emnes 3.2. There was Mido, Jordan Rose, Braithwaite, Leroy Lita. Remember him? Alan Armstrong, Mark Abranca. And then I've got a host here. The other ones, I don't want to blow the pants off you, but we've got Chris Boyd, Scott McDonald, Big Killen. Is it Jaime Mourinho? Danny Graham, Ishmael Miller, Andy Campbell, Dave Kitson, Marcus Bent, Marlon King, Dwight Marshall, Kiki, remember Kiki? Jason Yule, David Nugent, Negredo came in loan, he didn't cost it, and Tonke Stanley came in loan, so there's a lot to digest there. But it's interesting, isn't it? You forget, because as a fan you just concentrate on this season, and you forget half it's went on and who we've brought in and how much they've cost. Astonishing. Do you think Borough will get second spot in the league? That's for Kevin Phoenix. Kevin, I've already mentioned it. There's no reason why we can't, because Sheffield look as if they're bottling it a wee bit. I mean, they won in the cup during the week, which was brilliant. Some people question, oh, they're in the cup, they'll take their eye off the league. I don't believe that. I've never believed that. I've said that for years at Middlesbrough. I thought that would give them another boost, but they get beaten Saturday with Blackburn. Was it 1-0? You held a record for 33 years as Borough's top scorer. You're a true legend, Andy Green. Thank you. As I say, Andy, look, everybody ran about me yesterday when Chuba scored. If you weren't at the game, you're not a Borough fan, you're saying, what was it? Chuba Akpom scored, that was his 21 league goals. I scored 21 league goals, 89. He scored the first striker in a Middlesbrough shirt to replicate that. Fantastic. People have got this saying, oh, slaven, the younger generation who have not got a clue, who couldn't spell Borough, let alone Middlesbrough. Oh, he's this, he's that, oh, he'll be gutted. Why? If I was losing a fortune, I would be good. Money ain't my God, but I'm losing nothing. It's a thing that stood for 33 years. Let's hope Akpom lasts a year and he gets another 20 odd, 30 whatever next year and the year after that. Or somebody comes in and starts banging them in. But Borough fans, we want us to win, and the way you win games and get promotion and get the promised land is when you've got strikers you can hang your hat on. And at the minute, Chuba's on fire. And he deserves the plaudits. And I met him yesterday after the game. I was asked to go and see him. I went, I shook his hand. Brilliant. Down to earth guy. Taller than I thought. I felt small. Yeah. And I love the celebration. I actually missed the celebration. If you didn't see it, he scored the goal and some people say slaven-esque, he's jumped on. There's no offence, obviously, but he jumped in the holding, arms aloft, and celebration of getting the 20. I did see it on the television afterwards, but I missed it because so many people were going, oh, Bernie, what about Akpom and all this, carry on. So, yeah, brilliant. Hey, records are there to be broken. You've seen Harry Kane doing it with Jimmy Greaves, doing it at Tottenham. Everybody does it. But England, when's an England player going to beat Mark McDonald? Come on, Harry Kane. Send this to Harry Kane. Come on, Harry. Beat Malcolm, will you? I can wind him up. Yeah, Mark McDonald, last goal, 5. I think it was a separate weight as he scored 5 against. Greetings from Waterford, Ireland. Des, how are you, Des? Bernie, what's going wrong with the Mackhams? Downhill since they beat us, Borough for promotion. No, I just think Mugger's hands are tied. He's not getting the backing and support that probably would have liked. But I never thought for a minute to get done 5. Getting beat's one thing. It's not as if Stoke City's in the top 6 and flying and going to gain promotion. They're mid-table as well. So I don't know. Regarding Borough for promotion, Des, I don't see any reason. I really don't. If it's a playoffs, brilliant. I'd love it to be second, so we're done and dusted and we can go and enjoy the summer knowing we're in the top flight. If it's playoffs, it extends the season a wee bit. That's good. It's interesting. It's money making for clubs. I get that. But I think we've got the bottle for it. I really do. I think we can go all the way. There's no reason why we can't. I read in Wikipedia you brought a piece of the Holgate and fence. Do you still have it? Yeah, I ended up chopping up and putting it into pictures. I did. So it was me on the fence with a commemorative wooden thing and then a bit of the fence at the bottom. Do you think Borough will get automatic promotion? For Kevin. As I say, Kev, there's no reason why we can't, but my gut is, being honest, we have 11 games left. Whose shoes would you rather be in? Take your Borough hat off. Would you rather be in Sheffield, a Sheffield fan, or a Borough fan at the minute? They're 4 points ahead. Would you rather we be 4 points ahead with a game in hand, or them? Ex-Middlesbrough goalkeepers Jason Steele, Brenton Ainsley Pears, Blackburn and Connor Ripley, Morecambe all kept clean sheets yesterday. That's for Edwards. He's doing his goalkeeping. Well done, thanks for that info. Yeah, I seen that Jason Steele. I seen that last night on the match of the day, and I seen Percy's boy was in the Blackburn side. Timmy Leake says the squad looks really happy. Goes a long way. It does, Timmy. Togetherness is very important, and everybody is celebrating. The only thing I never seen the celebration yesterday was when Foz scored the penalty. Watch it. He scores it and he runs inside left. Yeah, inside left, heading back to the halfway line. I don't know if anybody went near him when he scored the penalty. But the bond's still been great. Maybe Foz just took Amadi thought, give me the ball, I'm going to score a goal here, and peeved up and on the bench. Don't forget, he's been doing well for us. And all of a sudden, he's out Saturday. So he's probably a wee bit peeved up, thinking, do you know what, I might get amongst the goals here. But there is a great togetherness. There's a connection with the fans now. I think the connection was broke down for years. I'm being honest. I think it's really back now. Carrick is very good in front of the cameras. He's a calming influence for the players. The fans have taken to him. I laughed yesterday. I said in the Facebook Live last night, the Borough fans are shouting, Johnny Woodgate is a legend, and then they say, and F off Geordies, and I'm thinking, dear God, Carrick, and then they start singing Michael Carrick's name. I'm thinking, Michael Carrick's a Geordie. Bit of banter. It's called banter. Hey, the game could get stopped because of that. Don't you know that now in the modern game? Anybody shouts abusive stuff, you can cancel the game, abandon it. You ever thought about going into management, Bernie? Paul Dimmond. Paul, my late father, told me when I first retired, you should go into do your coaching badges. I did my prelim, then I did UEFA B, and then I was to go for my full badge. But I'll be honest, I was totally disillusioned by the whole thing, the whole setup in classrooms, reading bump and steady football and stuff. It was stuff that was nothing to do with football. I found it boring. I didn't enjoy it, and I just thought, well, look at Gareth Southgate. Gareth Southgate getting the Middlesbrough job where he is now and doing a great job. And I love Gareth, big fan of Gareth. But look where he is now. But he get the Middlesbrough job, he didn't have one badge. He had nothing. I had lads, mates of mine, who had a full badge and had them for years. Never considered, never got in. And Gareth got a job with your club when he had nothing. So badges do mean a lot? No. John Wayne had badges. For me, it's man management. And I've spoken to... Man management's the key. Bruce Rake, I thought was a good man manager. Some people that I played with, some of my pals would disagree. I thought he was a great man manager. Alec Ferguson, obviously I know Pally. I know a few of the Man United lads that played under him. Great man manager. Couldn't put on a coaching session. Great man manager. Knows when to put you up the arse, knows when to cuddle you, knows when to stroke your ego. That's about learning the makeup of all the players. Sir Alec Ferguson, that's why he was the best, because of that. The late great Brian Clough, Borough #1 striker, goals per game, statues still in Albert Park. For me, it should still be taken to the Riverside and be displayed to millions of people instead of a few hundred. Brian Clough, man management, couldn't put a coaching session on. I know Forest players that played under him for a number of years. One of them was Brian Laws, former teammate, who'll be at the 86 doing the 24th of March, Town Hall. All the money raised on the night goes to Gary Pattinson. There's still tickets available via the Town Hall. Price £30 and £50, 24th of March. All the 86 team was turning up. Tony Mowbray will be there, Bruce Rake will be there, Chairman Steve Gibson will be there, and there'll be other people there that you'll know from Middlesbrough's past. So it should be a great night. Gary Pattinson, his cell, will be there with his family. So it'll be an emotional night, nostalgic night. And let's hope we raise thousands. We'll get loads of good prizes. I'll be announcing them nearer the time so people can bid or whatever. Because we want to raise as much money because Gary Pattinson, who suffers from locked-in syndrome, he needs 24-hour care. And that comes at a cost. And this is the fourth event over the last, I don't know how many years. And as I say, the Pattinson family has never once got in touch with me or any of the 86 lads. It's something... Me and my missus done more years ago. The Tall Trees was the first one. There was about 1,200 people there, and it was a great night. And we're looking to replicate this. There'll be a comedian, there'll be glimpses of the 86 team on the screen. Gary Phillipson for the local BBC, he'll be doing the hosting. And Alistair Griffin will be singing a couple of Borough songs. It'll be a great night. Does anybody know the last time Middlesbrough were in the same division as Hartlepool or Darlington? I'm 38 and I don't remember them being in the same division. Well, Mark, if anybody knows the answer, get in touch. Jeff Francis, Jimmy Floyd at Blackburn was a great hat-trick. It was, I was there. I saw it live, and yours and Birds, 2 each against the Geordies. This is for Jeff Francis. The best game. Well, that was a great game. If you're a younger viewer and you're thinking, what are you on about? Jimmy Floyd scored a great hat-trick. He did at Blackburn. I remember going to Blackburn and he got called off because of the rain or something. Anyway, Jimmy Floyd did get the hat-trick. Steve McLaren had a bad he used to take strikers off. He let some of them score, but then now and again 2 goals get him off. Me, he's probably never scored a hat-trick. Does Messi get taken off when he's on 2? Does he? Right. Does Ronaldo? No. For me, as a former striker, there's no better feeling than getting a hat-trick. but they don't want to override the whole occasion. I was meant to go back to something, but I'm just keep going. John Henry, Jeff Francis. John Henry was a winger. Back in 86, 87, Darlow were in the same division as us. Hey, Andy, well done. Yeah, I remember scoring 1-1. I think it was Misty at Erson Park. 86, 87. Edward says, yeah. Yeah, I remember that, sorry. John Henry. John Henry went up front with Wilco and had the party and scored a lot of goals. Great, and he did score a lot of goals, but he was a winger by trade, so I wouldn't put Hendy in that, although he got some great goals, and the best goal ever. Thanks, Andy, for that. There you are. It goes to show the team spirit. Yeah, it does that. Joe Henry says, I thought when Forrest scored, the crowd went flat, and why did they not celebrate his goal? Julie, I don't know. It was just I just think it was a wee moment of madness, and maybe he was just thinking himself. I probably got every right to think himself because he's breaking records left, right, and centre. He's top form. He's on a hat trick to get the ball. So I don't understand the whole thing. I'd love to talk. The local press should ask for us outright. Saying that, they're not going to tell you the truth, although let's be honest. You know what I mean? Nobody tells the truth these days. Fear of getting a sack or getting reprimanded or sitting in the stand or sitting in the naughty chair. Put the Dunseys hat on. I've had that on many a time. Nick goes with 4-3. He's referring to the Coventry game, I would think. You got two on the game in hand, Kevin. No, as I say, Kevin, it's like that old saying, bird in the hand or two in the bush. Would you rather settle for the bird that you've caught, or do you rather skate about the bush trying to catch two? I'd probably keep the one in my hand, but Ramsey is a Premier player. What Ramsey? We've only seen glimpses of him. I can't sit here and say he's a top player. He's going to make the Premier League. He's going to smash this, that, and the other. I don't know how good he is. I've only seen glimpses of him at Middlesbrough, and probably you have, Alfie. Yeah, Ramsey comes from Villa, didn't he? So unless you've watched Villa loads or he's played loads, Lee Dong-gook. I thought it was Dong-gook Lee. Jeff Francis. Oh, I've got him. Big Dong-gook Lee. I think he cost £1 million, Big Dong. And by the way, his goal scoring record with his country was at Korea. He scored a lot of goals, he did. Didn't quite cut it here. John Smith says, Chris Boyd, I've got him. Depena. Was he a centre forward? Depena. Good one. Yeah, I've got him as well. Do you think we should buy Archer? Kevin Foot. Look, Kev, I think we should tie a few of them down. Don't forget Giles, who's been a most prolific creator. Bernie, your walks with your dogs. Can you say where the walk is, where that stone seat is? Well, do you know what, David? Nah, I don't really want to say. I mean, some people know where I live. I'm a wee bit private as well. I know I'm loud talking about football and I've got opinions, but I don't show my missus, I don't show my family, and I don't really say... I put the walks out there to encourage people to get off their arse and breathe in the fresh air, and I always say do your daily exercise. And I sincerely mean that, because it's good for the mind if you're struggling with anxiety or depression or whatever. It's important to get out there, and I just try and to encourage people to do it. I don't say, oh, I live here and I go walk up here, because yeah, I just a wee bit private. I live in the country, I love it, surrounded with beauty. But don't tell the Southerners, we don't want them coming up here. Do you think we should buy that? So yeah, the answer is, yeah, let's get Giles, let's get Archer, let's get Akpom the longer contract. There's a few we need to really nail down. John Henry's my favourite all-time Borough striker, Tom Corrigal. Tom Corrigal does the boxing at the boxing club over at Billingham. He's forever telling me, where's John Henry t-shirts? I love John Henry, and he can't see by Hendy. Hendy doesn't like gingers. I've got to tell you that, Tom. He doesn't like gingers. I've never told him that because he knocked me out because he's a boxing trainer. Lee Dong-gook, yeah, we've mentioned him. It's funny how he comes up in it. I meant to read it. Oh, hold on a minute. Jason Yo, he's definitely one. What's the other one? Adlen Guduru. Who's that? I can't even pronounce it. Who's he? How many games he play? Mark and Chris have got him. And Benito Carboni. That's a good one. Carboni. He's definitely one. Tonke Sanley. He's another one, isn't he? Tonke. Mido. I've got him. If Mido, remember the Egyptian lad? Mido came here to Middlesbrough. If he had the appetite for the game the way he did the pantry, he'd have been some player. By all accounts, he came from a very rich background and family. I heard a story where he once drove up to the training ground in yeah, in Haworth, Darlington, and he drove in a white Rolls Royce or something outrageous, parked it at the front. I think he was out the team at the time as well. And then I think another request was he was wanting to land it was okay to land the helicopter on the training grounds, parks, the pitches, and he was told no. And the other one I heard about Mido was, these are things I've never really revealed, but I don't give a damn, was one day he was injured and he went training on a Saturday and the kit woman wasn't there. The doors were open, there was only a security guy, and he couldn't get in to get his kit. And he knocked the door down and went in and got his kit and trained. Almost forgot half of these players. What's it? Exactly. That's how football operates. I mean, I've got some of these things here. I'll read them. I always say I'll read them, and I never. Alves, Macaroni. I've got them. Alves 12 million. Macaroni was 8 million. I know them definitely. Yeah. Bora all the way, Bernie. Kevin, I hope you're right. All the way. Let's automatic. That would be the ultimate. Who will make the playoffs with us if we don't get automatic? I think it's very tight up there. I still fancy Norwich to be in the playoffs. I think Norwich will be there. Blackburn Rovers, after the one on Saturday, I think they'll be there as well. Well, I think there'll be a few. Well, it's going to be good teams. Sheffield United will slip up. They're already on the slide, and cup run won't help them. Ali Smith. I don't think that the cup run's got any bearing on it, but if it's a choice, obviously you want promotion more than a cup, because the odds are they won't win that cup. Paul Ripley says, let's just make sure we're in the playoffs, and anything else is a massive bonus. I agree with that, Paul. I don't, honestly, my gut is playoffs, and why can't we do it? It's very exciting. I'm actually quizzing for Wembley tickets now. Even I'm getting carried away. I never get carried away. I think your jumper's inside out. No. That's called class, man. What's up with you? What's up with you? It must be your eyes. Derek, you need to go to the optician, son. A Sombalonga, yeah, I've got a Sombalonga, 15 million quid. You know, I'm talking now, right? I'm talking millions and millions of pounds. I'm going to add them all up. I'm going to give you what my... I'm not good at maths, but obviously technology will be able to add it up. We're talking plenty. Holgate and Celebrations, Bernie, were the best without doubt. Atmosphere a lot better. Standing not the same with all the seats as with Peter Sloan, with all the seats of stadium. I agree with that, Peter. You know, I was when I was a boy, I used to stand in the terraces. Enjoyed, but they used to sway many years ago, didn't they? They used to sway. Obviously, there was girders in between you could lean on, barriers. And then they done away with it. They put the seats in. Obviously, safety comes first. Totally get that. But I know some clubs have introduced the standing back again. But yeah, there was no bit. The atmosphere at the Riverside's great. The 12th man and company do a great job. Atmospheric, brilliant. Get behind the side duration of the game, brilliant. Away, fantastic. But the Holgate had something special. As I say, the smell of woodbine, piss, and whatever was great, wasn't it? The smell of the grass. These days, it's the modern stadiums lack some. I think it's maybe because they're so vast. What's the list you're doing, Bernie? Late in, that's all. But a fan. No, what it is, I'm just looking at all the strikers over the last 30, well, since 89, who's come and gone in a flash. Some have did the business, some have not did the business. And the value and how much the cost is and what the value for money. Boy, we're throwing some money away. Half of them should have been thrown in the River Tees or thrown to the alligators. Paul, you get alligators in there as well. Paul, somebody says, or Sunley, sorry. Was at a Hibs game, Livingston yesterday. Hop didn't impress, missed a sitter and got subbed. Awful plastic pitch. It shouldn't be allowed. I agree with the plastic pitch. I agree with you. They should be banned. My favourite ex-Borough player is John Johnson, who played for us only once coming on when Chelsea were beating us 5-0. He never played again. That's your favourite player? Fair one. Michael Beck. We've got Michael Beck. Bart Okbeche scored 3 in 17. Okbeche. Tell you what. Don't forget, I watched every Borough game with the late great Ali Brownlee. I've watched all these strikers. I've barely missed a game for many years. I bet you. He must have come in. He must have fell down a hole in Linthorpe Road. Evening, Benny. Do you know what position Leo has at the club now? Simon Denham. I don't know. I was actually talking to somebody last week to ask could I do a podcast with Leo. I passed my number on. Let's hope he gets in touch. Then you'll find out. Because I ain't seen him at the games. People ask me, have you seen that Leo? Where is Leo? What's he? I say, I don't know. He's in charge of something development. I've never heard the title. That's me being brutally honest. Maybe if I talk to him, he'll fill us in as to what it entails. But I've never seen him. I've not seen him at games. Nobody's seen him. It's like the Scarlet Pimpernel. Evening, Benny. No, so that's for Simon. I've read that. Benny Joseph Slaven, your 86 reunion. Do you need raffle prizes? Richard Willis. Hi, Rich. Raffle prizes. We've got a few raffle prizes. The more the merrier. The more money we donate, there'll be money getting put in envelopes, and there'll be auctions, and we just want to raise as much as possible. I was in the Legends Lounge yesterday. I showed it last night on Facebook Live. Somebody came over and says, there's McAllister, the lad that plays for Brighton, very good player, Argentinian, international, won the World Cup with Argentina. He's signed jersey. It's got the documentation saying it's original. We've got that. Guy gave us it yesterday, brilliant. A guy for the army sent a match day ball up for 90s, all signed with the players. He's donated that. There's people handing me things, golf days and everything. That would be magnificent. So Richards, if you've got anything, we'll take it. I hope you had a good day yesterday. I'm sure it's the same Richard Wills. Why does Alan Kernigan not attend Packadoos? Joey, he's coming this one. Probably my fault last time. Although he said he was in holiday. Anyway, he's coming this time, defo. Because I've started about the hotel, that reminds me. No, so Alan Kernigan will be there, Joey. Don't forget, all these people, we don't see each other for years, and all of a sudden you ask all these guys to turn up. They've got jobs, and they've got families, and they've got other commitments. Some have booked holidays. But hey, 99.9% will be there. They've all, I've texted every one of them. They've all texted me back. They've all messaged me back. And Bruce has come up with his son, Bruce Reich. I'll salute Bruce when I see him. I'll have to shave because otherwise he'll fine me. Imagine getting fined for no shave. Imagine doing that now. Bernie, have we still got Muniz? Yeah, do you know what? I think we have still got Muniz, haven't we? That's what I mean. I remember Wildshot. He was a winger. But remember Wildshot? I kept hearing he's as fast as a gazelle. He's this, he's that, he's brilliant. He tears people up, tears the pitch up. Couple of games, disappeared into oblivion. Stuani, great one. Stuani. I was a big fan of Stuani's. Very good player. What about Gaston Ramirez? He was centre forward, wasn't he? Number 10, was he? Ramirez. It's incredible how time goes. And Dean Windass, I've got Dean Windass. Brian Dean, got Brian Dean. I remember Brian's a great big lad. Seen him not so long ago at the Riverside. I always remember that day relegated at Ellen Road. Hamilton Rickard scored some worldies back in the day. He did, by the way. He was strong as an ox, quality on his day. That's for Andy Appleyard. Andy, you're dead right. Nobody mentioned Rickard. Rickard and Yakubu get the same number of league goals as Fabrizio Ravanelli. Nobody remembers him. Why? Because Rav was outrageous. He was outspoken. He was colourful. He was charismatic. The other two guys just got about their job. Totally different characters. I'll tell you what, Rav gave Michael Beck some stick, didn't he? Over the years. The pantry class, Paul Ripley, yeah. I know what it says. Yeah, Meadow, the big lad, wasn't he? What's it? What did I hear this rubbish now? The P talking about pantries and that. You're not allowed to call them fat. So I've got fat mates. You're not allowed to call them fat. You have to call them what? What's the word? Enormous. So that's not derogatory. Calling them fat, but you can't call them fat. You call them enormous. So that's okay, isn't it? Nick Bambi, I've got Nick Bambi, great player, Bambi. The Midget Gems, him and Craig Hignett, Nepal. Zillard Nemeth, got Nemeth down. Scott McDonald's got him as well. Boyd, Leroy later. He needed a litre or two of petrol in him, Leroy. Rickard still a top Premier League goal scorer. What do you mean? I've just mentioned 3 with 16. He gets 16, Neil. Much maligned when he was with us, but he could finish on his... He he could. Lee Morris says, Leo, is your team pathways coach? Yeah, something like that. Jukovic, I've got Jukovic, big mugger, signed him, £1 million he was. He gets players through from youth to under 23s for the first team. Lee Morris, okay, referring to Leo. Marco Branco, I've got Marco Branco, the Italian, Alan Armstrong, Brian Dean, we've mentioned him. Lee Morris says, Bernie, do you still think Alan Armstrong was the most natural finisher we have had in recent years? Scored a lot of goals, Alan, when we see it, did very well. Natural goal scorer. Yeah, I think there's been a lot of great goal scorers. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Matt Viduka, Yakubu, Rickard, there's, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't knock Alan either. Alan was a very good goal scorer. Well, there was a few great ones, but by God, there was a few bad ones. I have swine dining, as you know. Would you like me to do a barbecue for 50 people you could raffle? Oh, for Richard Wills, sorry. I thought it was somebody taking the Jeffrey there. So Richard Willis to say, so remember Andy Payton, I've got Andy down, £1 million. Had high hopes for him when he signed absolutely pudding. This is for Andy Appleyard. Andy, the story about that is, we signed Andy Payton. Andy Payton was at Hull City, he was with, it was great goal ratio. He came, some of the lads didn't take him right away. I ended up socialised with Andy, I like Andy. Anyway, we start and we play against Bristol first game, and all the papers are predicting I'm going to get dropped. New signing Andy Payton for £1 million going to be replacing me. And I remember going in front of Lenny Lawrence, the manager, and I said, Lenny, don't be judging us on with price tags, gauges on what we do on the park. Anyway, we start the game. I don't know if it was City or Rovers, but it was Bristol anyway. And Andy scored first. I'm thinking, here, pressure's on. Then I scored. Then Andy gets stretchered off. I scored another one. And then before I knew it, Andy had gone. He'd gone to Celtic. My boyhood, he went to Celtic and I was still at Middlesbrough. Bonkers. It was a bonkers time. So I have swine dining, as you know. Would you like me to do a barbecue for 50 people you could raffle? Richard, that'd be fantastic. That would be absolutely brilliant. 50 people. Barbecue. Yeah, definitely. I'd like to roast a few of my mates. I didn't say that right, did I? Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. No, hey, Rich, that'd be brilliant. It really would. I see everything and anything we can get for the party night to raise as much as we can. And I'll be saying on here and telling you exactly what we get on the night. I see the Town Hall has still got tickets available, £30 and £50 for the Gary Pattinson night, who's got locked-in syndrome, needs 24-hour care. We're trying to raise as much as we can. All the money goes direct to Gary Pattinson. So, I say, I'll tell you, we've got loads of good prizes. Chris Rere's give us something. We've got artists giving us paintings. We've got villas in Spain, room 10. We've got accommodation in Whitby up for the week. You can get it. So there's loads of stuff coming in. And there'll be shirts, no doubt, loads of shirts. I hear I've got a couple of things for the club, but I've not heard anything directly. People come up and say, have you had anything for the club? No. Oh, so-and-so's getting you. Okay, so I'm still waiting. So I'll tell you when they give us it. I'll tell you if they don't. Yeah, so the more things we get, the better. Be brilliant. I know we've got a few more, but I want to read these out because people will just waste their time. Tim O'King, Leroy Lita, Bartholomew Utbechi. I do remember that, Utbechi. Excuse me. Carlos Marinelli, there's one. I remember Matt Proctor telling me, who's my mate, who's my best man, great lad, borough coach under Tony Mowbray. He says, Bernie, Carlos Marinelli is the most gifted player I have ever seen. He is incredible. He went as far, I think, at the time to say, like Maradona. I seen him in the first team, he was like Madonna, no Maradona. I didn't see it. I couldn't see it. He must have been what Ian Baird used to call a TG player, training ground player. So I'm just writing that Bartholomew. Right, I'll read a few of these out and then I'll get through. Have you ever handed the ball over to a teammate on a hat-trick? I bet you haven't. Slaven. What's a bit aggressive, that? That's for Neon. Marinelli. Wonder what happened to him. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I think I mentioned it last night. I don't know if I mentioned it at the start of the show. Playing Oxford, I was a penalty taker. I never scored many penalties for Middlesbrough. I think I scored about 6. Fallen. Yeah, I think I've got him, you know. Yeah, played one for the Borough, then disappeared. Ben Hutchinson. He only played, 1 or 2 games. So, yeah, the answer is, I handed it to Ian Baird. Ian Baird would have batted me anyway, but he he was on 2 goals, I hadn't scored or whatever, I'd scored 1 and I handed the ball to him. So, yes, I have. But I told the story last night when me and Gary Pattinson, the lad we're having the night for, was arguing for the ball. I won the argument in the Premier League. Last kick of the ball, last minute of the game, 2-2. And I hit it right in the Holgate end. And I get stick and abuse for it from everybody, and rightly so. Can Chuba make it in the top flight, Bernie? You sampled it for Jen. I don't see any reason the way he's turned it on this season why he couldn't, because for me, he's a very good footballer, and footballers survive in the Premier League. Hammer throwers don't. Good defenders do. If you're a hammer thrower or you can't pass the ball, I don't think you really adjust to Premier League football and top flight football. I was told that Gary McAllister, who worked for Steven Gerrard at Rangers and played for Liverpool, he told me after it was the last game of the season before in the playoffs back in 89 or whatever it was, 87, 88, he told me when we're in the playoffs, Bernie, I hope you get there, you'll love it, they'll let you play. And he was right. I loved the top flight when I played in it. We never won, well, we get relegated that season, but I personally enjoyed it. They let you play. Obviously better defenders, but Darren says, I think Wild Shot plays for Bolton now. Wow. Have I mentioned Ian Baird? Yeah, Paul, I've written Ian Baird. He's my teammate. He's my best teammate. Coop says, what about the 86 tickets for... 86 tickets for Gary Pattinson. He's still up in the balcony. There's seats. There's still a few left, and let's hope we sell them out to raise. Don't forget, Gary, if you've got money and you're a Borough fan and you're a charitable guy or lady, please come along. All goes to party. Gary Hampton was over here a few weeks ago. He's flying back to America for 3 nights just to attend the party there. Where are we here? Sam says, your mate Morgan is in trouble, Bernie. Top 6 looks unlikely. Well, listen, is he in trouble? Trouble what way? The team, he's not going to get sacked, is he? They're 10th in the league, Sunderland now, and they're 6 points behind 6th place Norwich. So, Fred, the Borough fan, says, how did Chuba not take the ball off Foz yesterday for the hat-trick? Well, I've mentioned that throughout last night and tonight. I would have definitely took it. He wouldn't have kicked the ball cleanly. I would have probably run up behind him and hit it. Because that's what I believe. The best striker takes the penalties. And Chuba scored the last one at the Riverside. So he should have took it for me. Rory, a Reading fan. We deserved to get beat yesterday, but we defo penalty turned down. And you'd have had your player sent off. But as I said earlier, I get it. Probably was a penalty. But we know VAR, there's no proving it. So, well, even with VAR, you can't prove it. Some of the dummies that's went behind the scenes. So, no VAR. It could be costly. Playoff games, no VAR could be very, very costly. Frida Borough fan says, enjoyed the Legends Lounge yesterday. I think I know who you are. Enjoyed getting a pic with you and a few of the Borough legends. Yeah, there was actually Stephen, Terry Cochran, Pallister. We were all in there yesterday. Had a good bit of crack and banter. Frank says, Chuba obviously is going to finish a top league scorer in the league and possibly top scorer in the division. Well, top league scorer with Middlesbrough. Possibly top scorer in the division. Were you ever top league scorer for a few seasons? Top league, what you mean? Top Middlesbrough scorer. Yeah, I was top league scorer for first season I came in. It was just over half a season. I went out half a season to go. My 6 full seasons. Yeah, I was top league scorer. Bernie, congrats to Chuba. I loved the celebration after he scored this. If you call the Borough fan, Slaven S, no doubt attribute yourself. Hey, look, I never seen it afterwards. As I say, people were tapping me on the shoulder and all that, and I seen it, and I was humbled. I thought, brilliant. I see, I've been in touch with the guy behind the scenes. It was a private conversation. I met him Saturday, private conversation, got the picture. I sincerely hope we can bring in a load more goals, sign a long-term contract, score more goals for Middlesbrough. We all benefit from it. And we're playing good football. Brilliant. It's been great. I mean, after watching Wilder, Warner, Pulis, Karanka, boring. As an attacking minded guy, former striker, watching my beloved Middlesbrough, watching the Robson years, playing under the Rare years, and then watching these negative managers come in with negative football, negative tactics. Boring. I was embarrassed to be a Sunderland fan yesterday. This was Jim. I'm sure Tony Mowbray was embarrassed, and so they should be. Stoke are 60 in the table. I mentioned that earlier there. George, what's that? George. Newcastle now slipped to 6th in the Premiership. Yeah, they have. They've not won in 4. I mentioned that earlier, but they've got 2 games in hand. And Tottenham are 4th of two games in hand. They won that to go above Tottenham. But of course, if they won them. Jeff the Borough fan says, I noticed a tweet from a lad with 35 followers. Wow, 35 followers. And so-called Borough fan. And he was having a go at you, Bernie, saying that you've lost the claim to fame. Poor guy. That's what he says. He says, Bernie's a poor guy now. He's lost his claim to fame in Middlesbrough. What's he going to do next in the next book? Well, I can only suggest, what is his name? Boris. Need I say any more? I think Boris must have just come out the womb. Boris should learn about the history of the club that he supports. Do your homework before opening your gob. As I say, he must just have come out of the womb. Doesn't know anything about the history. Last one. Well, there's more, but I can't read them all. We're running out of time. Bernie, are you going to do a chat with Chuba for a podcast for Paul? I spoke to him yesterday about it. The club's more or less agreed. Hope it happens next week or 2. I'll be chatting to him, asking him questions that I would like to ask, and the club will film it, whatever. So it's been we've been chatting about it. So yeah, hopefully yes. Franny says, do you see any similarities to you and Chuba's achievement apart from the goals? Not really. I mean, both of us like to drop deep, arrive late in the box. Both of us can finish. I think Chuba's got a good touch. I think I had a good touch. We're not great in the air. Aggressive. Chuba's not aggressive in the air. And both is comfortable with the ball at the feet. Good evening, Bernie. After Hartlepool got a draw yesterday and now 3 points off relegation, do you think they can stay up? Keith Watson. Well, Keith, hopefully he can. I know Rice Singh. I'm not his pal, but I know him. I get on with him. I admire the job he does. I know he's killed 8 managers already, but he has to do what he thinks right. He's going with his gut. He's made another change. Let's hope it's successful. So yeah, that's the similarities that I can see with Chuba. Lisa, I loved Chuba's celebration yesterday, Bernard. Jumping on board was fantastic. No striker, no top 6 finish for Len. Simple as that. He's just saying Sunderland ain't going to make it. Stuart the Borough fan says, great bit of Chuba yesterday. Did he have much to say? Yeah, we said a few words, but some of them private. And as I say, somebody, well, he didn't say don't say anything, but I'll not repeat because some of it was private. Frank the Geordie says, still see Super McDonald's. I've not seen him since the cup final. He's hiding under the bed. John Newcastle fan says, I thought you were going to do Facebook, YouTube Live every Monday. I'll be honest, I was and I am, but I've got a surprise birthday. I can't tell you because it's a surprise. You might be watching, and I'll reveal all my next live broadcast, and I'll tell you whose it was because you'll know of them. Ian the Borough fan says, have you got Giles? We have to get Giles nailed on contract. Without a doubt, most creative player. I'll read a few out and that's us. Alan Armstrong, I've got that. Graham Dickens, we've mentioned him. Jeremy Ali Dare. Ali Adamer, that's what some of them used to call him. Yeah, I've got Ali Dare done. Alan Armstrong was a player for us, scored important goals. He did Darren Blue Hodgson, he did Uwe Fuchs, I've got Uwe. Hey, Uwe used to go about with Jet. Mind Jet, it was on, what was it called that? I didn't watch it myself. It was on some programme on the telly, Saturday night. Can't remember the name of it. Mind Jet black hair. I used to be, there was photographs that appeared there. I'm walking along the front of Redcar Beach. What a romantic. Redcar Beach with a lemon top. Uwe Fuchs, German lad. Great, he was a good lad, I remember interviewing him. Alan Boxic, what a player he was. Curtis Main, Danny Graham, Curtis Main. Yeah, the thing is, I'm looking for players that cost us money. Andy Campbell, put Andy Campbell, Paul Wilkinson. I played with Paul. I've got Wilco. Uwe Fuchs was the one flash in the pan, but Terry's hero. Yeah, he became a cult hero, Uwe Fuchs. And as soon as we got promoted, we get rid of him, but he did the job. It's a bit like Trevor Senior, came for Reading. Scored over 100 goals, Trevor, for Reading. He's a Reading legend, and rightly so, and he's a great lad. He came to join us, played a massive part, got some crucial goals in the playoffs. He scored against Bradford, down at Bradford, and he scored one at the 2 at Ersum to stuff Chelsea and get his promotion, and then Bruce moved him on. So that was a similar thing, but he became a hero as well. Fjortov got Jan. I met Jan Fjortov, if you don't follow him in the social network. I met Jan the Man United Barcelona game just over a week ago. I was talking away and he, how you doing? And I've met him a few times, Jan. He's a character. He's funny. I loved his celebration. The aeroplane light. Scored a few important goals for Middlesbrough. Yeah. Total Premier League goals. Rickard has 31. Oh, sorry. I know what you say. I thought you meant a season. over the years he was there. Right, okay, I get that. Okay, Janino 29 for 26. Right, I get it now, Neil. Sorry. Nick Hill said Cameron Jerome. Cameron Jerome is incredible. Cameron Jerome. As I say, I have to write him down because I forget as soon as I go off this. Lee Miller. Lee Miller. Who's the big lad? Who's the lad that was under Wilder? The big centre forward scored a couple of goals, and then he moved on right away. He disappeared. Some people question why didn't we keep him? You know, for a plan B. Scored a couple of goals. What's his name? That wasn't Lee Miller, was it? Tell you what, my mind's gone. What's happening with Michael Beck's lockdown charity match? This is with Darren Blue Hodgson. I asked this question earlier. Not heard any more about it since the end of the first lockdown. Well, get in touch with him. I think he's on social network. Ask him directly. I think it'll be down to finance and money and organisation. The club ain't going to do it. The club's never mentioned it. It's not the club's idea. It's not their baby. It's Michael Beck's, and to proceed, he has to keep going. But as I say, he'll have to fork out a few quid to get everything in place before it happens. You know, you need security, you need police, you need stewards, you need to pay for the pitch, the accommodation of the players, the flights. There's loads to consider. And then if he doesn't get the crowd in that you think we're going to get, don't forget the pandemic's been over, what, a year now it's been over. Who knows? Carboni, yeah, Benito Carboni, I've got that. Somebody mentioned him. Michael Ricketts, dear God. Nemeth, no Whelan, yeah, I've got them. Marco Branca, the Italian stallion, yeah. Right, I'll read a few more and finish. Chuba isn't just a goal scorer, he's a creative playmaker as well. Jack Kilpatrick. Jack, I totally agree. He's more than a goal scorer. Don't get me wrong, and if and when I chat to him in recent weeks, I will ask him, you know, how have you come back such a different player? Obviously, I've got ideas how he's come back a different player because he's playing regular. He's playing under a manager that plays good football, attacking football, free-flowing football that encourages football. The other managers were more interested in keeping clean sheets and hoofing it, Wimbledon style. So for me, Carrick's played a major part in what Chuba's done. Chuba has been revitalised, refreshed, and loving every minute of it. He's real passionate, you know. So he's more than a goal scorer. He can hold it up. He's got vision, can roll his marker, he can head the ball. Yesterday, he had a great header first half. It was a great header, hit the post. It was a great header. Because it wasn't really high. The weight came over and they had to, he sort of hit it off the ground and it hit the post. Hi Bernie, can I have a quick shout out? Kaylee, what have I shout out? Big Uchi, Big Uvi Foots. Uchi, that was it. Uchi. You didn't tell me second name. Uchi, Big Uchi, yeah. Can I have a quick shout out? Kylie, Jay White, big shout out for you. Nick Harris is saying, racking my brain for non-current and non-popular Jaime Marino, wasn't it? Yeah. Chris Freestone. Did he start Freestone? Yeah, I remember Chris. I knew Chris. Freestone. Did he cost his anything? Paul Forrester. Illman. Neil Illman. Is that when I played? Neil Illman. Small blonde lad. They have to cost at least $1 million or over. Tonke came, I don't think, did we pay money for Tonke? Don't worry, I'm going to sort it out. Everything's under control and I'll reveal it all via my social network. Gladiators, that was it, Louis. The Gladiators. So jet off Gladiators, Big Uvi was caught on camera walking along Redcar Beach, yellow top in hand. What a romantic. And then I think he took it for, I think he got a couple of fresh fish off the boat that came in. Kiki, I've got Kiki as well. Ray Hankin. No, we're talking for 89. But what the reason I'm bringing up is the 20 goal mark. So for 89 to 2003, in between all the money spent, squandered, and thrown away. Ekpizu. Uche Ekpizu. That's it. I thought he was going to become a wee bit of a cult hero. I loved his couple of goals early doors. I loved his celebration. He'd get the fans involved. He looked a real character. And then he was just gone. Puff of smoke. Tonke Stanley got him. Pizzo, Nugent got Nugent. Which academy players do you think are worth a shot next season? I'll be honest, Darren, I don't watch any of the academy football. I don't know some of the players that's in there. But I would love nothing better for the academy, which they've not done so far in all the years they've been going, is to produce a centre forward. I want to see a centre forward come through that academy. I've said it before. There's only 10 players in Middlesbrough's history, and no more in the history. This is set in stone. Have scored 100 goals or more, and 7-8 of them are for the northeast of England. There's about 7 for here in Middlesbrough. So, and they're all local lads. So how have we not developed with all this great facilities and money, and how have we never produced a centre forward? Produces wingers and midfielders and defenders. But somebody that's went really on and really stamped their thought. I don't mean fly-by-nights, guys that's played a few games and disappeared. I mean guys that's really sustained it, scored goals, regular games. We've not done it. And that for me, when I look at the top 10, I think 7-8 players for North East, majority for Middlesbrough. You know, like George Campsell, Mickey Fenton. You know, the Borough lads, Brian Clough, Wolf Mannion, who's a winger. He get over 100 goals. David Mills, Alan Peacock, who I met yesterday. So all these guys, all local lads, got goals galore, 100 of them. I say that's set in stone. There's nobody going to break that one. I think we can all sit here and safely say. Why? Because there's no... well, people don't want to stay around for more than a year or two. The fly-by-nights in the main. The last player we had longevity, I think, was George Friend. Great lad, great player, great ambassador. Cost 100 grand. I think Tony Mowbray brought him in. They're very, very rare in the modern game. Players, it's a job. They rotate, they move. And do you know what? I don't blame them. When I look at my own career, you're loyal, you're successful, you're doing this, you're doing that, and then when somebody doesn't like you, wants you out, you've gone. So you might as well do it when you want to rather than when they want to. So any player that moves on when a contract's up, I don't blame them, because eventually when the club don't fancy you, they'll boot you out. Listen, I'm going to read 5 more and that's it. Finished. What do you make of this? If Tony, what do you make of the situation at Sunderland? Mugger had been flying. They lost Sims and Stewart. Then had the luxury of a window and done nothing. Was sad to see how deflated Mugger looked after the 5-1 yesterday. The owners have to question themselves, because what's happening is down to them and not Mugger. He can't do any more than he is. Well, Tony, you might have just joined us, but I've already mentioned that. Tony Mowbray had the window to get players in, especially centre forwards. The lad went back to Everton, you mentioned that. Stewart got injured and they brought a couple of rookies in, apprentices who have no track record of scoring goals, no background of scoring goals. How are you going to win games if you can't score goals? And you have no strikers, recognised strikers. So I totally agree. And the fans, if you're going to, Sunderland fans, if you're going to get any stick, give it out to the guys at the top. It looks to me, from the outside looking in, Mugger's hands are tied. Mugger's the coach, not the manager. Michael Carrick's the coach, not the manager. They're not managers. So the coaches coach the team, pick the team, but they don't necessarily bring all the players that come in and let all the players that go. That's down to the other guys. Director of football, coach, director of football, the chief execs, the chairman, they pull the strings. The manager carries the can and gets all the flack and the stick, which is very unfair. So by the time a lot of the fans out there woke up and started directing your stick elsewhere rather than the coach or the manager, well, the coach, no managers. Martin Braithwaite, I've got him. My boy gave me him earlier, Craig. That's a good one. I'd forgot about Braithwaite. Braithwaite, I think he cost something like 6 million or something, didn't he? Some people say that Mugger effect, but don't buy that. Some people say the Mugger effect, but don't buy that. That's fine, Dave. I'm not going to, that's your opinion. I'm not going to, because Mugger's my pal, I'm not going to say, oh, come on, that's your opinion. I respect your opinion. I just want to say, remember Yakubu, feed the yak, he will score. I remember that, yeah, Yakubu. Listen, thanks very much for joining us. I know it was late notice. I thought, I'm out tomorrow, don't want to not do it because I have to mention sponsors. I think it's important and I enjoy doing it, and obviously we've had a great weekend being a Borough fan. Well done to Tuber again, well done to Michael Carrick, Jonathan Woodgate, the fans. Newcastle, come on, get your act together, get in that top 6 at least. Some of the Manchester lads I've met over the week, bias, they'll be hiding under the bed after today. 7. Could have been 10. Could have been 10. Darlington Hartlepool, good points at the weekend. Mulga. Anyway, thanks to Cornerstone, TGM Cars, Cleveland Systems Engineering, Galaxy Blind, Richard World Training Associates, Advanced Utility Solutions, Borough Ship Museum. Thanks to you. I'm back tomorrow. It's a podcast, Total BS podcast, and I'm chatting to, it's an interview, part one, with a local artist who's very, very popular, sells lots of great paintings. When you see his name, you'll be able to look him up and see all his paintings. Same way he's probably the most popular artist in Middlesbrough. He's from Middlesbrough. Everything's about Middlesbrough, the culture, the background, the streets, the industry, the football. He's an interesting character. I'll give you a wee clue. He actually he taught Hackney. So he talks about Hackney. So try and listen to it. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for joining us. See you later. Up the Borough, up the Matams, up the Geordies, the multi-hangers. If you're offended, I don't care. And the Darlatonians, whatever they're called. See you later. Thank you. Thank you.